Howdy folks, I'm Buoyant Bog Elfin, boisterously bobbing through brackish bogs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more brackish bogs for us to bob through, but we're not going to be a Sam, Dick, or Harry through this whole process, just to let you know. And folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. For more information, please see the end of the video. So let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Neighbor That She Should Check Her Husband and Not Me? So I'm deep cleaning my house when my neighbor shows up at my doorstep. She introduces herself, which is fine since she's new to the neighborhood. But then she drops a bombshell. She says that I make her feel uncomfortable. I'm taken aback since we've never spoken before and I've lived here for 13 years with no issues. When I ask her what I'm doing to make her feel uncomfortable, she says that it's in the way that I dress when I'm cleaning and that her husband has been watching me from their window. I look down at my outfit. It's a sports bra and shorts. And I ask if that's what she's referring to. She confirms it. I'm confused and I tell her that maybe she should be concerned about her husband's behavior and that I'm not bothering anyone in my own home. I suggest that she should check on her husband because that's weird behavior. She gets mad and wants to cause a scene. Am I the jerk? Does anyone else find the situation weird? I should add that I do have curtains blocking most of the windows, but I have like a small gap for natural light, which I think is how her husband has been seeing me. All right, folks, what do you think?
Absolutely not the jerk. This is your own home. Like, you should be able to dress in sports bra and shorts to clean your own home. And the fact that like OP even has curtains up and like he's seeing through those small gaps, like it is really hard to see into people's houses in the daytime. You have to be like flush up against their window peering in. And so like he is the one who's violating OP's privacy. Like if I were OP, I'd be concerned about creep next door. I wouldn't be concerned. Like, I don't know why the wife is concerned about OP. I'd be like, husband, you're a creep. Stop being a creep.
The only thing that I think OP could have probably done better in this situation has to have been like, thanks for letting me know that your husband is a peeping Tom. I'll be filing a police report on him now. That's the response that OP should have. Calling up the police and being like, hey, by the way, there's this creepy guy who's been watching me while I'm cleaning in my house. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what this woman is thinking because what he's doing here is not even legal, right? Mm-hmm. And like you pointed out, it's pretty hard to see inside of a house during the daytime, right? I do not know why, like, she should be like kicking him out of the house or something like that. But and how much time is he spending watching through this window, right?
He's just like standing right up there. Oh yeah, she's still cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, just like the amount of time he must have been doing it for her to catch him, just is absolutely just inappropriate, right? OP isn't even dressed inappropriately for like being out in public, right? A sports bra and shorts are something that people exercise in regularly.
Exactly.
So I do not know what this person's thinking because OP1 isn't even like indecent. Maybe they would want OP to know if OP was naked cleaning and like their husband saw them while they were cleaning and naked and something like that and be like, hey, by the way, people can see inside your apartment when you're cleaning. Just to let you know, maybe you want to close your curtains up more or something like that, right? But still, like, it's, not OP's fault that people are watching them.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like, I mean, it would have been one thing if she was offering a warning, like, by the way, my husband is a creep, I'm talking to him, but you might want to close your curtains. Mm-hmm. But to expect OP to change because her husband's a creep, like, it's not going to stop him from being a creep. Like, yeah, maybe he'll have to entertain himself some other way for the time being, but, like, he's still a creep at heart.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Curiosity60 says, no burlap sack to wear near uncovered windows or gasp outside? Hussy! /sarcasm. And OP replies, I know, right? How dare I clean my house in workout attire? I bet that they've never been to the beach before. Like, I mean, like, oh boy, do we have news for about other places. And like, oh, I mean, come on, give me a break too. Like, if the guy really wants to look at people who are half undressed, why your neighbors? There are other opportunities that I'm sure that he could pursue that would be more socially acceptable than spying on your neighbors here. And Low Mix 4949 says, you know that you're not the jerk. And OP replies, I was just making sure when you have high anxiety like I do, you tend to second guess your logic and responses. I mean, I think that that has a lot of truth to it, right?
Oh, it does. Like, there'll be times when, like, I say something nice about someone or I tag someone in a nice post and I'm like, but what if they don't like this? What if they don't want to be tagged? And, like, you know, when you have a lot of anxiety, it can make you question even little things that are, like, kind and, like, basically no one would care about. So, like, you know, OP going against her neighbor, like, I can understand why that would elevate her anxiety.
Mm-hmm. And Mission Honeydew 2209 says, I had to check to make sure that this wasn't karma farming. Oh my goodness, your neighbor's delusional. Her husband is a grade A creeper. You're so not the jerk, but you need to be careful around stalkery neighbors. And OP replies, I definitely am. My brother is coming over today to adjust some of my cameras. I try to be a good neighbor and respect privacy and not point them at anything that I don't own. But I don't have a choice at this point. And Must Love Dog says, you might want to check the law regarding camera angles beyond your property. I'm in California and that's illegal. I wanted to video obnoxious Airbnbers, but I couldn't. Check first. And OP replies, thank you for that. I had no idea. Checking into it now. And Bramblefish says, also, check on the Peeping Tom laws near you. Sounds like the new neighbor could be pushing their limits. And OP replies, thank you. I'm doing my research today and taking everything that I can find to the police department. Thank goodness. I wanted to know that for sure. I'm glad that OP is taking this to the police because at this point in time, like, they're being harassed by their neighbor for doing something inside of their own home.
Yeah, and spied on by their other neighbor.
Yeah, not good. Not a good situation. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to continue to breastfeed for the twins that I was a surrogate for? I'm a 32-year-old female, and I served as a surrogate mother to my 36-year-old sister who couldn't bear children as a result of her cancer treatments. I carried twins for her and her husband using their embryos. The delivery took place 3 months ago. This is where it got bizarre. My sister keeps requesting for me to breastfeed the twins since breast is best, and she can't lactate. I agreed at first since I wanted to assist her, but it's been taking over. She insists that I visit 5 or 6 times a day, or express milk enough for all meals. I work full-time, and I have my own 4-year-old child to look after. I informed her that I would need to reduce to perhaps twice a day and some expressed milk, but she burst out crying, telling me that I was depriving the babies of the opportunity at optimal health. Her husband sent me a text saying that I was selfish as I already did the hard part and should still assist them. The situation boiled over yesterday when I walked in and discovered that my sister had created a bedroom for me and insisted that I just come in to feed the twins whenever they wanted. And I told her no and mentioned that formula was perfectly adequate way to supplement. She took offense and said that I was abandoning my nephews and breaking our agreement. I left without giving them food. My mom said that my sister and I should be more understanding about her situation, but to be honest, I feel my body is being used as a dairy farm. Am I the jerk if I wouldn't want to be their full-time milk supply? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. It is your body, and you are to do with it as what is best for you. Their demands are unreasonable, and there is nothing wrong with formula.
Yeah.
Fed is best. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Your kid is getting fed.
Yeah. I mean, it's better to have the kid have nutrition of some form. Formula is a perfectly adequate substitute, like OP said.
Yeah.
But OP's going above and beyond here because they could have just been like, well, I'm done after being a surrogate, right? But they were trying to help their sister and they were trying to help their nephews and trying to, get them to, and feeding them, right? So OP was doing way more than what they needed to do.
And the sheer ingratitude of these people.
Oh, yeah.
OP went through, all the physical tolls of pregnancy to bring them these children and was even willing to do some amount of breastfeeding. But if she's not at their beck and call, then she's the one who's failing them and ruining her nephew's life. And it's like, no, this is not OP's responsibility. You're the parents now. You need to feed the kids.
Well, and it sounds like OP has their own family.
Yeah.
So they're taking time out of their day and away from their own family to help their sister out. and their job and all these other things. And it just sounds like they're incredibly ungrateful for the sacrifices that OP has made in the past and continues to make today. They should just be glad that OP is helping out at all, right? So, and you know what? The bedroom doesn't bother me in the respect that it's a nice gesture to set aside a place for OP. Maybe if they wanted to stay the night, they could, but not pressure them, right?
Well, it sounded like it was more like pressure to essentially
Yeah.
get OP to move in there.
Well, and where I draw the line is at the pressure, right? Because it sounds basically like instead of just providing them with a place, a space that could be their own if they wanted it, they're basically like, why don't you come on into our house and we promise that we won't lock you in here permanently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel bad for OP because OP is being clearly taken advantage of here. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Empathy 10 says it's a shame that these details weren't previously agreed on. However, if they had used a paid surrogate, they certainly would not expect that of her. There's nothing wrong with reclaiming your body and time now. Give them some space if they are unable to accept that. And OP replies, yeah, probably the best thing to do is keep some distance until all of us have calmed down a little bit. And Competitive Eye 1342 says, your sister is a jerk. She should be kissing the floor you walk on, not bothering you and trying to make you her in-home wet nurse. You have your own life and kids. She can wait for you to pump a couple times, or she can swap out for formula, as long as her kids eat. This is not your issue, and you've done more than enough. Not the jerk very clearly, but your family is. And Ebony Jewel says, your sister needs to understand that breastfeeding is a choice, not an obligation. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, My Boyfriend is Mad at Me for Not Wearing a Bra. The other day, I got sunburnt, and so I haven't been wearing a bra because it irritates the burn. I was going on a walk with my boyfriend, and he got mad because I wasn't wearing a bra, and I was just like, oh yeah, it's irritating my burn. We got into an argument about how he was uncomfortable with me leaving the house without a bra on because it was immodest. I told him that the only reason that I did it because it was hurting. But to be honest, even if it didn't hurt, if I didn't want to wear a bra, then I shouldn't have to. Keep in mind that I usually do wear a bra, but every once in a while there are days when I just don't feel like it, so it's not like this happens often. He says that he feels like he's a good boyfriend and not very controlling in general, which I agree with, so he thinks it's unfair that when he does try to set a boundary about something that he's uncomfortable with, he sees it as that I don't love him or care enough about him to just do it. I feel like a healthy boundary is about behaviors and actions, not what I choose to wear or not. And that it's not fair to use the idea of a lack of controlling behavior to justify telling me what I can and can't wear. It feels like we're on the verge of breaking up over this, and he says that we should be working together to find a compromise, but in my mind, there's really not a compromise besides acknowledging that we disagree and continue on without trying to change the other person. But that's not good enough for him, and he doesn't see that as a compromise and just me getting my way. All right, folks, what do you think?
Run for the hills, OP. You're definitely not a jerk here, but some of the things he says are really concerning. Like his whole, oh, well, I'm not controlling, so you need to do this for me, otherwise you don't love me. That is control and manipulation.
That's manipulation
right there.
and controlling behavior. Like the fact that he's like, I'm going to try controlling you with guilt and manipulation, but because I'm not a controlling person, is just like such circular logic that it blows my mind.
It is mind-blowing. And also, like, he is not concerned about OP's physical comfort at all.
No.
Like, sunburns can be painful. And, I mean, OP, it would be fine to go braless for whatever reason, right? You shouldn't be forced to wear one. But especially when you're suffering from, like, a very painful sunburn, having something, like, digging right into you, that's not pleasant, and it can like peel up the skin and everything. It's not good, and he's not concerned about that. He's like, well, I want to see you in a bra.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is that he's right that boundaries in relationships should totally be respected. But what he is saying here is a deal breaker, not a boundary.
Right, you can't set boundaries over someone else's body, generally speaking.
You can set boundaries on your own body and your own preferences for clothes. Like say your partner wants you to wear a funny tie, right? And you're like, no, I don't want to wear a funny tie. And your partner can't be like, well, it's a boundary of mine for you to wear a funny tie.
Right, but you
Right?
can say like it's a boundary of me that I don't wear ties because they're very constricting.
Yeah. And so, like, otherwise, like, it might be a deal breaker where your partner is like, well, I don't date people who don't wear funny ties, right? You're allowed to have preferences, right? As long as those preferences are like known ahead and established and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, that is perfectly fine, right? And part of dating is figuring out what people's boundaries and deal breakers are, right? But you can't just arbitrarily assign a boundary to somebody else, right? It doesn't work that way, right? And I mean, again, like, I feel like there's like this weird kind of area because, like, in relationships sometimes we talk about boundaries inside of a relationship, right?
Yeah,
Because, like, you might expect monogamy, for instance, to be like
right.
a standard inside of a relationship, but that's something where, you are kind of both agreeing if that's the
Yeah, you
what
can
you
have
want.
relationship boundaries, like, but this isn't a relationship boundary. Like, it's a boundary, like he's trying or not. He's trying to set restrictions on OP's body, like what
Mhm.
she wears and stuff. And I feel like it's a little different.
Yeah.
Like, because of a relationship boundary, it's kind of even using the word in a little, maybe in a little different
Wrong
sense.
way
Like, it's
too, yeah.
well, because it's like these are the bounds that we are okay and comfortable with, and
Yeah.
everything outside of here is not what we agreed on.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good way of phrasing it. It's like a closure almost, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And new number 7810 says, info, how much is showing when you're not wearing a bra? I don't think that it's controlling or unreasonable to not want your partner to show off their private parts in public. If your boyfriend started walking around in sweatshorts with no underwear and everyone could see his rooster flopping around, would you be okay with that? And OP replies, not a lot. I'm barely a B cup and I was wearing a t-shirt. I don't know that this person's point is they're making the point that they want to make.
Well, and also we over sexualize breasts as a society. Like,
Hmm.
we can see male nipples all the time, and it's no big deal.
Well, and that's it too, right? Nipples are very different from, the reproductive organs, right? And again, like, they have a very specific purpose, and no one is bothered by male nipples here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's certainly, like, I think a double standard in a lot of ways, but I mean, certainly, like, there is going to always be people are always going to be people who are uncomfortable, and if you're uncomfortable with something, then it makes you uncomfortable. I'm not saying that you're not entitled to feel that discomfort, but like you said, I do feel like society sexualizes breasts and nipples a lot more than they should. And Jesse D. River says, people misunderstand boundaries. Boundaries never get to tell others what they can and can't do. They communicate what a person will do if someone crosses said boundary. He is totally allowed to say what he is and not willing to do with you when you choose to leave the house without a bra. He's allowed to tell you that he will leave the relationship if you continue to not wear one. He's not allowed to tell you whether or not you're allowed to wear one. Tell him that he can take himself out to the trash and when he leaves, because you don't wear what he wants. I just went to an event this weekend in a loosely fitting sundress with not a shred of clothing on underneath of it. I was the most modestly dressed person at the event. My lack of undergarments didn't make me immodest. If he is so concerned with traditional modesty, was he promiscuous for not wearing a bra? All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, shere's a joke.
What did the molecule say to the ion?
Oh, I'm attracted to you.
It's a good one. I can't deal with you when you're all charged up.
Ah, that
And
makes sense too.
it's Geek Pride Day.
So go find a geek and be proud of them. Or if you are a geek, then be proud of yourself. Plain and simple. You thought I was going to go somewhere weird with that, like maybe zombies or something like that, but I didn't. Didn't go there. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do, you beautiful people out there. And Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on bodily autonomy.
Don't try to control other people's bodies.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.